Yo, yo. Man, I'm telling you, listen, we're gonna get right into the proceedings this morning because I gotta get on the road to go back to Alabama. You know, I'm a Mr. Mill. I love the Mill. It's the best city in the world. I just got back from Alabama, as a matter of fact. And now we right back. We right back on the way, man. Kittler Consulting. We making a lot of money knocking these doors, man. KittlerConsulting.com for all of your canvassing needs. Alabama is clicking. Michigan is clicking. Illinois is clicking. Wisconsin is on fire, boss. You heard me? KittlerConsulting.com. And this podcast is sponsored by KittlerConsulting.com. We going back to Alabama, baby. So I'm gonna get right into the proceedings this evening. I got an amazing show lined up for y'all today, man. We got the most disgusting men in the Wisconsin legislature. I'm putting a real big, big spotlight on these sick people. These guys are sick individuals, and they want little girls and little boys to be harmed by adults. Legislators are allowing this, and we should be protecting our kids from this. Stick around to hear more about what that is, right? Very common theme on this podcast is a lot of our legislators are politically eating dick. Okay, we done with the political dick eating. It's time to put the voters first. It's time to put the citizens first, and we're gonna get into what that political dick eating looks like. You know what I'm saying? How can we aggressively fight against identity politics right now, because they're essentially trying to get us to also politically dick eat, and that's a dead one. You know what I'm saying? I got some good knowledge for y'all today, man. But first, your legislators are some sick, nasty motherfuckers. Excuse my language. I'm gonna try to really contain my language this podcast. It's gonna be difficult because these guys actually made me very upset with the decision that they chose to make when they voted against this bill, Assembly Bill 677. Assembly Bill 677 was a bill that it was an anti-grooming bill. Essentially what it did was it created clear language for what grooming is and created a specific punishment for individuals who attempted to groom children. Now, what is grooming? Grooming is when an adult creates a very strong, personable foundation with a child in the with the intent to have a physical sexual relationship with that underage person. That is grooming. And we're going to get back to that definition very, very soon, because it coincides to why these very sick individuals voted no. Who are these people who voted no against protecting our children? I want y'all to remember this, because this isn't the first time that your legislators took a no vote in order to appease the appeal that they wanted to present to the people. We cutting right into it. Angelina Cruz from Racine, Representative Angelina Cruz, you a nasty woman. You voted no. Angelito Tenorino in Milwaukee, you's a nasty person. Nasty person. Ryan Nasty Clancy. We finna get into you, bro. Because I got a big problem with Ryan Clancy. I got a big problem with Darren Madison, who also voted no on this bill. Both legislators representing Milwaukee. Francesca Hong out of Madison. We already know Francesca Hong is out of her mind. You know, she's a nut job. We know what she was going to do anyways. Francesca Hong doesn't like Americans. She doesn't like black children. She's a socialist, so you know she doesn't like black people. They pretend to, but socialism is the new Jim Crow. Check out episode 1 when you get the chance. Kristen Phelps out of Eau Claire, all right? You know, I only know a couple good people out of Eau Claire. You know what I'm saying? So it don't surprise me that you a weirdo who will vote no against a bill that was so important to protecting children. All of these legislators go on and they talk about how we need to protect women and believe women. And here is your opportunity, Democrat and socialist, to actually stand up and protect children and little girls and little boys. And y'all voted no. Why? Everyone is probably sitting at home or sitting in their car wondering, why would they vote no on this bill? Let me read exactly what this bill does. Let me read exactly what people like Ryan Clancy and Darren Madison voted no on. The bill creates a crime of grooming a child for sexual activity and provides a penalty. That's specific language from the bill. It defines grooming in statute. It prohibits anyone from engaging in a course of conduct, pattern of behavior, or series of acts with the intentions to condition, seduce, solicit, lure, or entice a child for sexual activity or for sexually explicit images. Examples of prohibited behavior. And this is directly from the bill summary. I'm giving y'all, this is why I bring the facts to y'all. This is exactly what's in the bill. That these men, and unfortunately these women, maybe they're not women, because how could you vote against this? Francesca Hong might be a man, who knows? She does have very strong manly features in the face. Fuck you, Francesca Hong. Examples of prohibited behavior in the bill summary is listed as such: verbal comments or conversations of a sexual nature directed toward a child. Corey, I need to print. You know that picture I sent you last time? Can you print that? Oh yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome. It's however the big the picture is. I want the people to see what this sick guy looks like, right? He has that Lovely Bones look. You know, you remember that movie? I didn't see it, but I get it. You know what it's about. Ryan Clancy does have the Lovely Bones look that I hate so much. When I see men who have this type of look, I automatically think that they're a child predator. And when you get guys who vote against policies like this, you kind of wonder, who are they protecting? Right? But examples include verbal comments or conversation of a sexual nature directed towards a child, inappropriate physical contact, digital communication through sex or through text or social media to entice a child, offering gifts, privileges, or special attention to lower a child's inhibitions, acts intended to isolate a child from family or peers. It seems very simple. It seems very easy to understand. This isn't. That's great right there. This isn't rocket science. It's clear language for what this is. The penalties: Class G felony for basic grooming offenses. It's a Class F felony if the adult is in a position of trust or authority over the child. This is very important because what sparked this legislation being written was a story that came out about a Wisconsin teacher who was allowed to move out of state to continue to teach, even though he had been accused of doing this grooming as well. And instead of them actually reporting this on paper, they allowed that man to just resign. The family was notified, but the school districts was not, so that teacher can continue to go to multiple other schools and put kids in danger. These are the things that your legislators have opened the door to. Now, this bill, it passed, thankfully. Only 6 of these people were people who voted no against this thing. But the Class F felony version of this is why this is so important, why it should be so important to all parents. And when we leave our kids in these institutions, these daycares, and these schools for 8 to 10 hours a day, we blindly put our trust into these institutions because we believe that they hopefully have our child's best interest at heart. We pay high tuitions at some schools because we want to be sure that our kids' education and our safety is at the forefront of the mind of these teachers in these schools. And sometimes sick people, you cannot keep sick people out of these systems, right? We live in an evil world. The earth is a devil's playground. So you can't put much past everybody. You gotta look at everybody away. When I was looking at schools for my daughter, I walked into a school and I immediately noticed that the women teachers were outnumbered by men by a lot. And the first question I asked the program director is, do you guys plan on hiring more women teachers? Because I felt so uncomfortable dropping my daughter off in an environment where most of the people were men. I didn't know those men. I hadn't shaken any of those men's hands. They could have been the greatest teachers in the world. I wouldn't care. Put some women in this school, or my daughter can't go here. So it should be very important for all parents to know when things like grooming is taking place in schools. Because now even those parents who maybe their kids go to the school where that teacher was caught grooming a child, they aren't even aware that their kids were in a space with a groomer. It's a Class E felony if the child has a disability known to the person. It's a Class D felony if the offense involves 2 or more children. And if you are caught grooming, you have to register as a sex offender. Ladies and gentlemen, what about this bill sounds so terrible that these 6 legislators, especially Ryan Nasty Ass Klansman and Darren Madison, why would they vote no on these bills? Well, guys, as you all know, that I love what I do. I love bringing you guys the hard hitting facts. Okay, and what I've been able to find out is that Ryan Clancy gave an answer as to why he voted no on this bill. And this isn't on record, so I just want to preference that this is information that was given to me from someone who works close in the Capitol, who works close to these situations and actually worked very close to this bill, who told me that Ryan Clancy voted no because the word grooming is offensive to gay people. Ryan Clancy, shut the fuck up and get your sick, nasty ass to the back of the line. Nowhere in the language of this bill does it say anything about homosexuals. And if you feel that way, it's maybe because homosexuals have been caught grooming kids. But this isn't an attempt to attack homosexuals. This is an attempt to protect children from all people. You see, there are straight women who have taken advantage of young men. This isn't just a man to girl thing. In MPS, there have been multiple examples of coaches and teachers who have been accused of doing this. School bus drivers. I'll never forget when I was in high school. And I ain't gonna say your name, shorty, but you was fucking the bus driver. I know. We all knew. we all knew you was fucking the bus driver. You was what, a junior, maybe was supposed to be a senior. You know what I'm saying? And look, she had that body yaddy. She was built like a grown woman. She got on my bus stop. I'll never forget my first time seeing her. I thought she was catching the bus to work till she got on the bus with us. I said, wait, what? I mean, when you in high school, man, we had girls who was built nice. That was true. But this girl was not just like your ordinary built girl. You know what I'm saying? And I never forget, it was one day I got on the bus early. I was skipping school. You know what I'm saying? And I was like 30 minutes before class let out. All of the buses are already lined up. And if you know, the bus driver normally just lets you on, even though they're not supposed to. And I'm going to show you exactly why. I get on that bus. Guess who's on that bus? That girl. Kikiing and laughing and giggling and all that. I thought that was odd. And then maybe a couple of weeks after that, I get on the bus in the morning. My bus stop was always the first stop of the day. I used to hate it too. I had to be on the bus bright and early. It wasn't, I ain't have no break in between, right? I was the first stop. My man Big X, no, shout out to Big X, my boy Xander, man. You be watching the pod, and I love you for that. I appreciate you, boy. He'll tell you, man, we was the first bus stop. We had to be there 7:30 sharp. We didn't get to school till 8:30 probably, damn near 8 o'clock, maybe a little after, but we was the first stop. I'm sitting on the bus stop this morning. The bus pulls up. Guess who already on the bus? You guessed it, old girl. Now, why would this high school girl be on the bus already when her bus stop is where I'm already standing? Why would this girl be on the bus already if this is the first stop of the day? It's the last stop of the day when it's time to go home, and it's the first stop of the day when it's time to go to school. How are you the first person on the bus when the route just started right here with me? Now you might be saying, Jamiroquai, you bugging out. That you making an assumption right now. Okay. Very, very understandable accusation. If she didn't go tell everybody that she fucked the bus driver. But she did. And this is what I'm talking about. That man had no business digging his hands in that young girl honeypot. And she's young. She shouldn't be left to make that decision on her own. She's impressionable. I don't care how old you are, 16, 17, 18. When you are that young, the adults in the room are supposed to be the adults in the room. And that's why bills like AB 677 is so important. But why would people like Ryan Clancy and Darren Madison vote against this? Well, Darren and Ryan Clancy, going back to what I was saying, said it is because it is offensive to gay people. Well, so I call some homosexuals. I know homosexuals. I'm cool with some homosexuals. All right. I told y'all on one podcast there was a homosexual that actually officiated me and my ex-wife's first wedding. Maybe it's probably why it didn't work out. But you know what I'm saying? That happened. I don't have an issue with gay people. I got gay friends. Shout out to my man Hassan. Hassan used to be a whole different person. Hassan is her new name. His new name, my bad. Hassan is his new name. I'm going to bleep that. I'm going to get that up out of there. All right? And that's my man. So I don't never treat him no different. You know what I'm saying? I hope Hassan is doing good in life. I had to hit up a couple of my homosexual peoples. You know what I'm saying? I asked them, I said, is grooming, is that word offensive to you? And they all told me no. They all asked me, why would I even ask them that? Why would I associate them with a child groomer? They were offended that Ryan Clancy thinks that this word is so attached to them that he had to vote no on protecting children. Did Ryan Clancy talk to gay people before he made that vote? Probably not. But you know what? His son is gay. And I'm not saying that to say anything about his kid, because I don't play that shit about people's kids. I'm just saying that maybe he went to have a conversation with his son. Maybe he thought he was being a role model. But son, you wouldn't believe what I did today. All of these guys wanted to protect children, and I said no, because this would be offensive to my young boy. And I voted no, son. And yeah, that bill passed anyways because I was just one of 6 people out of almost over 100 legislators. But I stood up for you today, young man. Maybe he just wanted to feel proud about himself. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Clancy, you was a sick man. And Darren Madison, you sick too, but it's Black History Month, so I'm going to let you live right now. You know what I'm saying? But you a sick person too. And you know, matter of fact, hold on. Darren Madison, you know better. Darren Madison's district is Capitol Drive from, you know, it's from like 21st Street all the way to 51st Street on down to like State Street. And it's the 10th district. It's the 10th district in Milwaukee. You legislate over and represent a lot of black people, bro. Darren Madison, I'm more disappointed than you about this because do you realize how grooming has affected the young women and men in black communities? The unfortunate wall of silence that is built when children are harmed by family members, taken advantage by family members, by friends of family. Grooming in our community is well known, unfortunately. It's something that we don't like to talk about. But I bet you it's a real high number of us that have had to suffer from things like this. How you don't know that? Maybe you one of those men who like to take advantage of young people. I don't know that to be true. But we should all be calling and asking. I'll be honest about that. Darren Madison, you a sick person. You a sick, perverted man for voting on this bill. You're a terrible individual. You should know better. You should know better than to act in this way. To vote in this way. When you know that forget the family members. Let's X out the fact that an unfortunate number of black men and women have been sexually abused by family members and friends of family. Let's take that part away. We all know, so this is why we know it's bad, because you won't find a black person who doesn't know another black person that was not sexually abused. Period. But the teachers in our schools have been accused of this a couple of times already. I'll give you another example. I went to school where I guess I can't say, I don't even remember this lady's name, but if I knew your name and that bus driver, I would say y'all names because y'all some nasty people. It was this one lady that was a security guard at our school. She had a fat ass too. Everybody wanted to hit that. She was a security guard. She was an older lady, probably in her like late 30s, early 40s, but everybody always was talking about how she had a fat ass. She ended up fucking one of the students. Then if you knew, you knew. If you didn't, you didn't. But that did happen at an MPS school. These things happen at MPS schools all the time. I'm gonna just be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I gotta, I want to protect the victims. If they ain't came out and said nothing, then it's nothing for me to say. They might not even feel like they a victim, even though, what took place was still wrong. It doesn't matter if they think it was wrong or not. You are a child. They are an adult. It should have never happened. But these things take place in our schools all the time. Another reason I would never put my daughter in an MPS school. Probably happens in other schools. It probably does. I won't even put that on MPS right now. Darren Madison, how could you vote no when these things are so present in our communities? You're supposed to be a representation of your voting body. You did not represent them. I'm pretty sure that if they knew about this bill, they would encourage you to vote yes on it, Darren Madison. Ryan nasty ass Klansman. But let's get back to Ryan Clancy. Because Ryan Clancy, I used to live in your district for a long time. You know what? Forget it. I do live in Ryan Clancy's district. I do. I've been staying in East Milwaukee / downtown Milwaukee for the last 7 years. I love it. Great living. I've lived in many amazing places. I love the east side of Milwaukee. I do not love Ryan Clancy, and I hate Alex Brower too. There's the other socialist piece of shit that represents the east side of Milwaukee. Ryan Clancy, there are a lot of gay people who live on the east side of Milwaukee. I know. I see gay flags everywhere, pride flags everywhere. I see white men walking with their black babies all the time. So you clearly are pandering. You are clearly a political dick eater. This had nothing to do with gay people. The language in the bill does not mention gay people. The bill was introduced to close a legal gap, to create a clear and explicit language for those who manipulate and create explicit conduct towards minors. Had nothing to do with gay people. But your legislators like to tell you things like this. You know what else I always see on the east side, Ryan Clancy? Straight people walking their children in strollers. You have schools in your district, Ryan Clancy. You nasty man. There are families, children who live in your district, you nasty man. Parks all throughout your district, you nasty man, Ryan Clancy. You voted no on this bill because it's offensive to gay people? What about all of the families that live in your district? How would the mothers feel about you voting no on this bill? You think they all extreme socialists, gay people? Don't worry, because I'm finna come knock every door in your district and tell them exactly what you did, and your face is right on that door hanger. And they will all know exactly what you did. Darren Madison, I'm gonna knock every door in your district, and your face is on the literature. And they all know exactly what you did. Ryan Clancy, you had an opportunity. You could have protected children. You could have protected women like you always say that you would like to do. You want to protect families? Well, maybe we should do that. Instead, your legislators are doing things like introducing legislation to put tampons in boys' bathrooms. Those are things that Ryan Clancy supports. Ryan Clancy thinks it is extremely important for us to have tampons in boys' bathrooms. But he does not find it an importance to make sure that those who are harming your children in the state of Wisconsin are actually suffering. This is Ryan Clancy. Look at his face. If you're watching at home, I know a lot of people don't watch the video. Everyone always listens to the audio. But this is Ryan Clancy. This is this sick. Look at this man. He's got that lovely bones look on him, doesn't he? He's got the look of a guy who might not care about the harming of children. Look at him. Look at his eyes. Look at those sick, cold blue eyes, right? Just like a sick white man to think that he has the power to harm children, right? These is elitist socialist white men. They think that they're doing you a favor. They don't love you. They don't care about you. Get your nasty ass face shit out of the screen. Son, what a sick motherfucker. Ryan Clancy, you a nasty man. You a nasty man. And I'm finna tell everybody in your district that you's a nasty man. Shame on you, you sick, perverted man. Luckily, the bill did pass. The bill passed. Why would you be one of 6 people to vote no on something so good for children? It's supposed to protect kids, and here you are voting no on it? What a shame. What a shame. We should call him. We should all be calling these guys and letting them know that what they did was pretty disgusting. You might be asking yourself, how do I do that? Don't worry. I'm about to tell you. You can call Ryan Clancy's office. You should all call him. And you should ask Ryan Clancy why his nasty ass voted no. Ask him for yourself. Because like I told you, the reason that I was given to me by someone who worked on the bill very closely, who works in the Capitol, and who had gotten this quote from Ryan Clancy. You should call and ask nasty ass Klansman himself why he voted on this bill. And his phone number is 608 237 9119. Room 21 in the Capitol if you want to go take a house visit. I love making house visits because legislators don't pick up the phone. And Ryan Clancy, his office is one of those. Ryan Clancy's a nasty man. And I used to see Ryan Clancy knocking doors in his district. I would stop and say what's up to him, talk to him, because he's my legislator. He's my representative, okay? His breath smelled like dick. I should have known back then that he was a political dick eater, but I let it go. I had a tremendous respect for Ryan Clancy, although I disagree with his policies 9 times out of 10 times out of 10. I respected Ryan Clancy because you could see him in his district. He's always present. Whatever he believes in, he's there. He stands 10 toes in the ground for. That is Ryan Clancy. And I'm the type of person Ryan Clancy is. He might not even care that you call him because he is that 10 toes. But I have no respect for a man that would pick his political allegiance over protecting kids and actually doing his job and representing his district, because I'm pretty sure a majority of his district would not have advised him to vote no on this bill. You nasty ass man. Ryan Clancy's number again is 608 237 9119. You should call him. Call him and ask Ryan nasty ass Clancy why he will vote no on a bill that was going to protect children. Why would you do that? Unless you were protecting someone other than the children. Darren Madison, you nasty black man. Your number is 608 237 9110. Listen, if you live in the 10th district, and the 10th district, it spans across Glendale and Milwaukee. It goes right in the East Capitol. A lot of black people in his district, all the way from Good Hope down through Silver Spring. If you live in this area, down into Keith, the hood. All my homies off 2nd and Keith. What's happening? What's happening, man? What's going on, man? You ain't over there on 2nd and Keith, but you 2nd and Keith alumni. What's happening? I know guys over there, man, and they fathers of daughters. You not being a representation of your community. You being a dick eater. And when I say that they eating dick, this isn't a derogatory mark, an anti-gay derogatory mark. No, you could be straight as a line and still be a dick eater. What is dick eating? Putting another man's opinions and priorities before your own, shoving them down your throat. I mean, removing the person that you are, all to defend another person, another man at that. You a dick eater. Y'all some dick eaters. And y'all know darn well that it was terrible for y'all to vote against this bill, but y'all did it anyways because y'all thought it made y'all look good. And instead of doing y'all job and actually doing something positive, you rather the appearance of you doing something positive other than the actual work that you should be doing, which is voting yes on positive bills like AB 677, but you voted no on it. So you can go back to your gay donors and your gay constituents, say, look at this really cool thing I did. You some suckers. Y'all some suckers. Darren Madison, you a sucker. And Darren Madison's phone number again is 608-237-9110. All of these guys are constantly putting their ideology and their personal allegiances to these different groups ahead of the actual mission. I went to a church the other day. Because it's not just your legislators, it's all of our leaders are politically dick eating. I go to church. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the church I normally go to, I love Life Church. Shout out to Life Church. They're my peoples over there, man. That's the church I normally go to. You know, our church, I love Life Church. They do like the top 8 out of 8 pop songs for the worship, okay? And it's cool, but sometimes I need to hear that soul. I need the singing of a good Baptist church where it's like 10, 15 strong black voices up there. Talking about the pains of the trials, but the joys of the other side of it. Talking to, real worship. You know what I'm saying? You can hear it in the voice. And they sing it so good, they gotta move their body like this. Because they can't contain all of the passion. I be needing that in the morning when I go to church. And so, I tried to switch it up. My grandmother goes to, a more Baptist church. So it's off of like 60th and Good Hope. Yeah, I'm snitching. If y'all know that church off of 60th and Good Hope, this is the church I'm talking about. All right. Now, every time I've gone to this church prior, they said something political, and I didn't like it. They got a new pastor, though, so I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to go to this church. I'm going to have a good time, hear the new pastor, and I don't have to hear this guy talk bad about Republicans, okay? We in church. Not even 5 minutes, all right? They just finished worship. And this pastor goes into the pulpit and starts to do the opening prayer. And in the middle of opening prayer, begins to bash Donald Trump and the Republican regime in the White House. Says that there is a crazy man in the White House. I don't know what that had to do with prayer. I think they'd actually just got done doing a directional prayer to certain people in the church that, people who lost their families, people who might be in need, financial hardship, difficult with their health, things like that, right? What does Donald Trump have to do with any of this? And who are you to call another man crazy? It's a biblical fact that we are not to judge anybody. And here you are in the church as a pastor at the front of the church at the pulpit, telling everyone what you personally think about somebody else. A chatty patty during your prayers, bro. And it's disgusting. Your church leaders are even politically dick eating. This is a problem. As a church, how do you even find yourself being a supporter of a Democrat? I know y'all thinking, oh, he finna get on his super ultra Republican shit. I try not to do that. All right. Because contrary to popular belief, I vote Republican, but I have a lot of issues with the party that I have voted for, and I'm actively working to try to transform it along with a lot of other good people. Shout out to Chris Lawrence. Shout out to Hilario. You know what I'm saying? But you got to know the Democratic Party and the Socialist Party is the party of the evil. What other excuse for it to be for them to promote full-term abortions? That's right. The Democratic Party supports full-term abortion. Maybe not the party itself, but there's a large group of people there who do. It's the far left. It's the socialist movement. It's the Francesca Hongs who are more than in support of killing a baby when they're 8 to 9 months in the stomach. Forget the full-term abortion. They support the abortion in the first place. They promote the abortion in the first place. I don't support abortion, but I always tell legislators, just let it go. What you going to do about it? There's too many conflicting reasons for why it's hard. It would be difficult for us to stand in solidarity against it. But I do think it's wrong. I just think it's a dead point in politics that we should stop dying on the hill for as conservatives. But how can you as a church proudly support and endorse Democrats when the entire argument, the biggest issue that they run on is abortion, killing babies? It's illegal for you to pull out when you busting your wife. You can't even pull out of your wife and bust a nut, and that's a sin. You supposed to let that thing travel on up in there. And y'all will preach that at the pulpit and then turn around and endorse a Democrat that tell you it's okay for you to kill a baby? What type of sense do that make? It's backwards. But the churches be politically dick eating. All of these trans and the gays and all that in the Democrat Party. You know why I really love Life Church? Is because no matter what, the pastor will tell you, look, I do want everybody to come here, but I'm not finna bring everybody here just to tell them that it's okay that you living how you living. You want to live in sin, you gonna go to hell. It's churches out there that'll tell you totally different. All because they want you to come into their church and be a member at their church and write a check to their church. They want to be inclusive. And they sacrifice their own moral beliefs, their own belief system, the things that the book, the Holy Bible, the word that they're supposed to hold near and dear to them. They'll sacrifice that just to take a side politically. Dick eating. Let me give you an example of when politics wins over common sense. 2020. The feds bust down Breonna Taylor's door, shoots her boyfriend. At least I believe that's how it happened. And if it's not, correct me somewhere in the comments. I don't have it in front of me. If it's in front of me, it's facts. If it's not, then it's just memory. They kill her. It was a no-knock raid order. And there was a huge uproar across America to end no-knock raids. And I agree. I don't think you should be able to just bust into somebody's house. Announce yourself. Let me put on some clothes. I might be in some pussy. I might be butt-ass naked. I might be taking a doodle. Give me some time. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for ending no-knock raids. You know who else was? Republican Tim Scott. Black Republican Tim Scott, who recognized the severity of the situation, was already dealing with the outcries from George Floyd, the constant protests. He is the sole black senator in these Republican caucuses at the time, I believe. And, he wants to be the person to help end this so that there is no unrest, so that there are no unhappy people. Government now has an opportunity to respond in real time, which is what a lot of these protesters wanted. They wanted legislation to validate how they were feeling about the way that America treats black people. And here is Tim Scott producing a no-knock raid bill, ending it. Do you know Democrats voted no on this bill and killed it? Tim Scott then goes back on the floor and says, listen, this is ridiculous. There are people protesting. They're very upset. The family of Breonna Taylor deserves our swift response. Make changes to the bill. Make the edits and let's put it back on the floor for a vote. Let's do whatever you got to do, Democrats. But let's pass this bill. It died. The Democrats had an opportunity to end no-knock raids in America right after Breonna Taylor's death. But it doesn't look good for Republican Tim Scott's no-knock raid bill to be the one that passes. So it's just a no vote. That's what your legislators have been doing for years, ladies and gentlemen. This is what Democrats do. Not all of them. So I don't want my good Democrats hitting me up talking all that mess. Even though y'all be signing up to support a lot of this mess. I'm going to tell y'all right now. If these aren't enough examples to show you that your legislators play politics more than they assume their roles as your leaders and representatives, I don't know what else does. When do we get to learn from these lessons? Is it going to be when your legislators decide to keep your kids at harm for the sake of protecting one group of gay people? Or is it going to be when socialism invites law enforcement to drag us out of our home because it belongs to the government now for someone else who needs it? Which brings me to my next topic. Zohran Mamdani. He is the mayor of New York City. And Zohran Mamdani made a promise when he was on the campaign trail that he would increase and raise taxes on the rich so that he could pay for the New York City budget. Do you know that the New York City budget, not the New York State budget, but the city budget in New York City is more than the entire budget of the state of Florida? The entire state of Florida spends less money in a budget cycle than the city of New York City. But I concur. Mamdani ran on a promise that he was going to increase taxes on New York City's richest companies and people. The state of New York is not allowing him to do that. So he says, okay, I can't go get it over here. Then you know what? We're going to raise property taxes on all of the middle and lower class people in New York City. Mamdani ran on making New York more affordable, making it accessible. He said that none of his plans would ever harm the people who couldn't afford to pay it. Only the people who could afford it. Only the rich people are going to get taxed. This is the dumb things that they say. They always say this. They always say these things. They know it's not true. And the voting public doesn't always have the wherewithal to know it's not true. So y'all all eat it up. But y'all got me now. It's not true. Whenever you're going to raise taxes, no matter who's getting the tax increase, your cost of living is going up. That's just a fact. You might even lose jobs because corporations don't want to deal with an increase in taxes. They'll just move the company back overseas, or they'll take it to a state that's willing to give them the tax breaks, or a state that's already low tax. That's what's happening in California and New York right now. People are fleeing both of those states to go to Texas and to go to Florida because it's just more affordable to be there. Because Democrat and socialist policies don't work. I just learned of a group of people who said they wanted to move to Germany because America is bad. Good luck. Good luck. You can't believe everything that you see. Go do a little bit of research. Figure out how socialist countries are living. You'll discover very fastly that you live in a very, very blessed ecosystem with all of its problems. Still could not even come close to what these other countries are dealing with. Zohran Mamdani is just a small example of what socialism is going to do to the rest of the country. It promises you all of the support and help, but in reality, it punishes you for owning anything, for being successful even a little bit. The only people that are okay with this are the ultra rich because they can afford to be okay with it. The ultra rich can afford to be okay with socialism. They think they're doing a good thing. They think they're paying their fair share. It's not true. You know what I find really funny? These guys sell you things that they know are bad bills of goods. Purposely. And then they down the hill as if the people telling them that they're wrong are like bad people. Let me give you an example. Zoran Mamdani did a horrible job managing the snowfall in New York. So although Milwaukee looks nice and pretty, the snow is melting down, we can see our dead grass. In New York, it's the exact opposite. It's just slush and waste and garbage piled up, frozen up against people's cars. It's disgusting out there. New York City's already disgusting, rats and all that. It's even worse right now. Okay? It's even worse. Zoran Mamdani enacts this emergency snow removal plan, which they've always had this, where they bring in citizens, they pay them money to help shovel out the city of New York because they might not have the manpower or the workers to do it. So of course, a lot of the immigrants come for those jobs, right? They want to work those jobs. But there's one caveat. You got to have an ID. That's right. Zoran Mamdani had to defend people needing an ID to get a job. You know, I had some real intense back and forths with Hispanic people about what I said on the last podcast about how, undocumented citizens harm black people's chances of getting good paying jobs. This is one of the examples of why, because undocumented citizens don't go on the payroll. They get paid under the table because they don't have the documentation that they're supposed to have to be here. They either have an expired visa or they have nothing at all. Mamdani knows this, all while Democrats and socialists say that having to have an ID to vote is racist. What's so racist about you having to have an ID to vote? More political dick eating, more of an attempt to engage you emotionally instead of providing you with a proper solution to your problems. The solution to immigration is not just opening the doors and letting everyone come in without any type of tracking or system in place. The real solution to it, very briefly, I don't want to stick here because I'm actually tired of talking about immigration. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's the world we live in. All right, Jesus had to pay taxes. He didn't want to, but he had to. You're on stolen land and you gotta have an ID and a birth certificate to stay here. You don't want to, but you got to. It's the world we live in. So what? Christopher Columbus wasn't even an American. He came from somewhere else too. You can use that excuse all you want to. I 100% agree with you. But guess what? We ain't living back then. If we was, we'd be slaves on cotton farms. All right. We not living back then. We living right now. And right now the rules say you gotta have citizenship to be here. So instead of complaining about how the rule is, why don't we just do something to fix the infrastructure? Put more money into immigration courts so that this process can move along a lot faster. Let's simplify the immigration process. The test for an immigrant to get here, it might be a little extreme. Maybe Americans can't pass that test. Let's simplify that process. Right? Is there a way for us to streamline the immigration process? Can we make it a little easier? In the process more accessible without keeping people on waiting lists for years and years and years. The person who has the skill sets to come to America to work and does not have a criminal record might find it very difficult to get here. And so, yes, I understand why the immigration system is broken. But leaving it broken and abandoning all law and order is not the answer, because that's how you get cartel members over here, sex traffickers over here. That's when you get the bad people over here. And then you allow the other side to justify it and say, well, these are criminals and we got to get rid of them. Duh, a lot of them are. And the ones who aren't, unfortunately, are overshadowed because of the ones who are. But the answer isn't just chaos. Mamdani knows that you have to have an ID to do most things. Most Democrats know you have to have an ID to do most things, but it's a good talking point, especially to the group of people that they need to go and vote illegally for them. Yo, shorties, women out there, if you listen, because I was told that I don't do a great job at at holding a woman audience, okay? I was told this podcast is 100% for the bros. Shout out to the homies. But I know women listen to this podcast. That's what I know y'all do. Women, y'all all know. It's Friday night. You got on your sexiest shit, and it ain't got no pockets, and you don't want to carry no wallet. What's always in a woman's bra? When y'all get to the front of that line and the bouncer got to check you, what you doing? You moving your titty to the side to get your ID that has money wrapped around it, that's right around the corner of the titty from where your phone is. Let's just keep it a buck. We got our IDs. You can't even kick it outside if you ain't got your ID. I can't go pick up tickets from will call if I don't have my ID. I can't drive legally if I don't have my ID. You go buy you a pack of cigarettes. You go buy you a pack of smokes. You need your ID. You want to get on the airplane. You got to have your ID. You want to go vote. Democrats say it is racist for you to have one. Well, was it racist for you to have an ID to get on an airplane? Is it racist for you to have an ID to get inside of the bar? Is it racist for you to have an ID to pick up the tickets from will call? Or does voter suppression just sound like a much better talking point politically? I think it's the last one. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to get a grip on this. We need to get a grip on this. Your legislators are not leading you. They are leading their little group of minions. Those days have to be done. Shout out to my homie on the north side making that money unemployed. Shout out to all y'all, man. I love y'all. I know it's almost hot outside. You know what I'm saying? Hustle season about to dwindle down. Y'all finna come outside. Everybody who was hustling all winter and was quiet, stack, letting their bread stack, they finna come outside, man. Shout out to y'all on the north side making that money unemployed. Shout out to my homegirls in the cosmetology studios doing hair with no cosmetology license. I mess with y'all. Listen, though. Stop telling people to come with their hair washed already, homegirl, because that's illegal. And if you're going to break the law once, don't break the law twice. And y'all know that the winter moratorium is almost over. And We Energy's bills is due. Start making that payment, boss. Because you know, once the moratorium is over, your minimum payment to get your payment plan started going to be too high. You're going to be running around DoorDashing and Ubering all over the place just to try to make it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and make that payment right now. You heard? This is Politic Papi. Politics as usual. I get back with y'all.